Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me today in this beautiful day in southern Arkansas. As some of you know, I've been working with youth for the last 14 years. It's something that's close to my heart, and I pray that something said today will influence you in a positive way to help you to mentor a youth in your life. I've seen how mentoring can positively influence an adolescence on a daily basis, and I've also seen how the lack thereof can have a negative influence in their life. We're in dire need of mentors in today's nation. A few statistics to get started here today is from the Office of Juvenile Delinquency and Prevention Centers. The last study they did was in 2013, for which it showed that 54,148 juvenile delinquents on any given day are incarcerated. I believe that this has a direct correlation with the lack of influence or positive influence in their life from Christian mentors and from adult role models. In Matthew 28, Jesus gives a great commission to be a witness, but also I believe that he tells us to raise up a generation for his glory. I believe that when this happens, that we'll have a global impact, and that on a huge scale, that there will be a new generation that's seeking out Christ. And I believe also that every child is in need of an influence. Whether it's a good influence or a bad influence, a child will be influenced some point in their life by television, radio, or peers. Adolescents at a young age are spiritual sponges. They're open to any influence from around them, leaving room for mistakes and to take them down the wrong path. Maybe by now you can see that we do have a need for mentors in this nation, but you wonder, how can we do such a thing? Broken paths are common among the unguided adolescents. Ron Bolstering from the Christian Education and Journal writes that those who form secure attachments during childhood fare better than those who don't. He goes on to say that when relationships are peer-oriented, that is, youth-aged oriented rather than adult, they're influenced on psychological functioning, and that it's detrimental to their future. They also write that adults offer a more stable figure for adolescents for attachment formation. He goes even further to specify that greater needs are for Christian adults in their lives. If the Christian Journal isn't enough proof for you today that it is needed in our nation, the U.S. Department of Transportation even defines mentoring as linking an experienced person, which is a mentor, with a less experienced person, the mentee. That proves to me that older teens experienced in worldly lusts and lusts of the flesh can influence or train a younger generation in a negative way. I pray that we as adults in this Christian nation, that we can stand up and take a positive influence in their life over the negative influences that they see on a regular basis. Colossians 2:8 says, "Be careful that no one takes you captive through philosophy or empty deceit, based on human tradition or influences of this world that are not of Christ." If we follow the word, we know that there's power in influence. So who's a proper influence and who is not is a good question. At this age, we know that influence is magnified. Faith and Family Journal writes that there is a need for non-parental influence so that they can discover their uniqueness. So in writing these, there's a difference in three things. They also prove this in studies at the Family of Faith Journal. Coaching, training, and mentoring are three different things. Coaching refines skills that are already there. Training tones those skills and makes them greater. But mentoring introduces new skills that might lead somebody in a new path. So to continue in the path that we are with less Christian mentors, we will lose our future generation for Christ. So who is the influence? Back to that. If you walk in the ways of righteousness, if you have an ongoing relationship with Jesus Christ, and if you are practicing the Word on a daily basis, you would love to see a mighty army raised for the gospel's sake, then you are qualifying for a mentorship in your life. It's imperative that you and I, if we meet these qualifications, that we seek out young people in need of training, that we would strongly influence them for the gospel, and that we might train, teach, admonish them in the ways that please the Lord. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope and pray that you would go out and find someone in need of training.